Hi y'all, it's Megan with today's Tech in 10. Today's topic is going to be Kami, a wonderful app that is awesome to use during this virtual learning time, but can even be carried over to when we get back into some normalcy in our classrooms and start seeing our students face to face. Kami is a PDF annotation app that started out as Notable. So if you've ever heard of that before, you already are familiar with what Kami is. We all know that PDFs, for the most part, are flat, and we used to print them and put them under our document cameras and write on them for our students to see. But with technology evolving, we don't have to do that anymore. We can save time at the printer, we can save paper, and now us and our students can work digitally using Kami. In 2015, Kami changed from Notable to its new name, which if you didn't know, Kami means paper in Japanese. And by 2017, the Kami community grew to over 4 million users, and they've seen even larger jumps in those numbers with people working from home and trying to teach from home. So if there's ever a time to jump into Kami, it's now, and we're going to get you ready for that. We're going to show you how to get Kami in your Chrome browser or on your Chromebook, and how it works and integrates with Google Classroom. So stick with us and we will jump right in. There's really two ways you can go about working with Kami. The first one is you can visit kamiapp.com. If you are new to Kami, you will have to create an account, but if you've already signed up and you've logged in before, you'll just hit Get Started, and it will bring you into the Kami workspace where you can choose what you want to do. Do you want to open a document from your Google Drive, your computer? Do you already have a document that you know you want to create a Google Classroom assignment with? Or do you just want a new blank page? Many people think that they have to have a PDF to work with Kami, but if you're doing virtual recordings for your students, this is a great place to come and get a blank page as a whiteboard space. Additionally, you'll notice at the top the OCR and split and merge. This will read any pictures and turn them into text that you have, and split and merge is awesome for breaking apart really large PDFs or piecing together multiple PDFs to make one packet. So right now, if you're trying to gather a bunch of materials for your student for 1 week and they come from different resources, this would be a really great place to come and easily make those into one document to share. Aside from going to kamiapp.com, you can also add the extension, which I highly encourage you to do because it will really marry the Kami and Google for Education together and make it really nice and seamless as you work through it with your students. So in the Chrome Web Store, you'll just search Kami and then add that Kami PDF and document annotation extension to your Chrome browser. There is another Kami extension that works along with that workspace that I'll show you in just a second, and it's called Screen Capture by Kami. So I recommend that you get that one as well, because it will allow you to do screen recordings and different tools within the Kami workspace. So if you want to go ahead and add that while you're here, do that as well, but for sure get at least the Kami extension. Let's talk a little bit about how Kami works and some of the tools and how it works with Google Classroom. If you click the Kami extension, that will act as a shortcut to bring you to that kamiapp.com where I showed you the first option of getting in if you don't have the extension. So if you have the extension, just kind of a shortcut to get you here, as well as giving you some other experiences in Google Classroom that you might not have without the Kami app, and I'll show you those shortly as well. So if I just want to go and work with a document with Kami, or one of my students wants to work with a document with Kami, they can open it again from their drive or their computer. I'm going to come and pull up a recent one that I've used, so it also lists those for you as well. And I'm going to give you a look at some of the tools in here available to you. Because Kami is so awesome, they are actually giving teachers access to the pro version at no cost while we're working during this remote and virtual learning time. So some of these features, once that pro trial, so to say, runs out, you may not see anymore, but right now you have full access. So it's definitely a time to try it out and see if you like them and if that's something you want to invest in when we go back into somewhat of a normal setting. So you can notice on the side I have a ribbon of tools. Many of them are self-explanatory, and I know that you can figure those out, so I'm not going to point and click every one with you. But I really love that now I have this very interactive PDF that was once flat. If I have students who need read aloud, I can choose the text-to-speech, highlight the part that I want it to read.
Lesson 15, locating ordered pairs on the coordinate plane.
They can choose to re-loop that, read it again, read the whole page, stop. They can change the voice and they can change the speed. So the feature is really nice for those students who need accommodations. It's all built into one place for you. The commenting feature is really great too. I know we're all familiar, if you're a Google user, with making just those text comments, but you also have the ability to do voice comments. So if I wanted to kind of go over this first part with my students, I just place the dot and it's starting to record. The point below represents 0 on a number line. Draw a number line to the right, starting at 0, then follow directions as provided by the teacher. I want you to draw a line as the directions state to the right of 0, and I want you to number 1 through 5. So I can give my students some verbal and oral directions instead of them just reading it or doing the read aloud. They can hear it come from me. And then I could even use that to record and talk through some of the problems or some of the text that is in the document that I'm teaching from. It will stay as a little note here, and when they open it, they'll see your comment and they'll just hit play and it's starting to record. The point below represents 0 on a number, and they'll have a nice little comment verbally from you in there. You can also do a video comment, which will open up your webcam and show you. So if you're reading a document to your students, a story, something like that, that might be a really good way for them to see you actually reading it to them. Or you can actually do a screen capture. This is really great for giving feedback to students or explaining something. It almost brings like a screencastify, screencast-o-matic into your workspace. So if I wanted to record to my students how you locate this ordered pair on a number line, I just click right here. I want to just do the application only. I don't want them to see all the other tabs, and I'm going to click share. Automatically starts recording. So I'm going to say, today we're learning about how to locate ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. This first ordered pair is 7, 2. I know that these are both positive or numbers, so they're going to be located in quadrant 1 based on the discussions we've already had. I know 7 is my x-axis, so I need to count over 7 on the x-axis here. And then I know 2 is my y-axis and it's positive, so I'm going to move up, and there's my ordered pair. Hit done, and then it will save as a little comment, so they'll see that, oh, my teacher recorded a video for me, I can watch that. Or you can record a video of you giving feedback to a student based on work that they turned in. Another thing to be aware of is the image option. They can insert images, so if you set up an assignment and you want them to pull in some additional work, they can do that. There's also an equation, text box, so if they're taking notes, they don't have to necessarily use the drawing tool, especially if they're not on a touch screen. That gets a little tricky, but they can start putting their text in and writing their notes. Tons of great features in here. Love, love, love that this makes it more interactive for me and my students. So I want to also show you the blank page feature. I know I talked about this earlier in the video, but if I'm doing a lesson on coordinate plane and I want to just kind of do some ad-lib notes, I don't want it necessarily to come from the Eureka guide. I can choose what type of paper I want. I'm going to choose grid, and then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I can use my shape tool to create a coordinate grid, and I can use this as like a whiteboard workspace and record a lesson for my students, or if we're on a Zoom or a Hangout or something like that, I can teach from this space as my whiteboard. So really love that feature as well. How do you get the materials to your students? Well, if you're using Google Classroom, which most of us are, or whatever space that you work in, you can share the document with them, and if they have the Kami app, it will give them the option to open with Kami. In Google Classroom specifically, as the teacher, when you go to create an assignment, you will have the Kami assignment as an option. So when you create your assignment like normal and push it out to students, when they go to open it, they'll open it like a normal assignment, and they'll choose Open with Kami. From here, the document will open, and you'll see all those same tools that you just saw in the examples I was giving you. The beauty of this with Google Classroom and having the extension is now they have that turn-in feature right here. So as soon as they're done working, all they have to do is hit turn in, and all those annotations and things they inserted in their document turn into you. When you go to grade and open your student's work, you can choose Grade with Kami, and notice it opens in that Kami workspace for you as well. So here's where you could go and insert those feedback using a video comment or a voice comment, or using your markup tools or the comment tool to leave them some feedback that they can use and in turn continue working on their assignment. You'll notice from here you can add private comments, their grade, and return. So like I said, it really marries the G Suite Google Classroom experience with the Kami app.